Yay! We zijn hier. We are here. And this is the final episode of VSV TV.
Yes.
I'm quite. I don't have words for it actually.
I have no idea what's going on today. Guys, welcome. I'm not sure if you've already seen it, but we're actually at Schiphol Airport right now.
We're still a bit out of words because we've been building up here and we've transformed this lounge on Schiphol Airport's GA terminal into an entire video studio. And one of the most key challenges was getting the lighting right, because you not only want to see us, but I think you definitely would like to see this beautiful view. Just look at it. That's on my side here. It's the tower of Schiphol, and we're on the GA platform. You can make out the KLMs in the distance. There's a Transavia 737 here. There's some citations. How do you feel to be here for the final episode of VSV TV, Sebas?
It feels wonderful. It feels wonderful to be here, especially because we're not alone, right?
No, exactly, because you at home cannot see it, but everyone of the Lucy is actually here, and it is because we have the space for it, which we don't have in my bedroom where we normally film VSV TV. They're all here. Arjan is behind the screens being the producer. Giel is helping him. Ralph is listening to the stream because he still thinks it's very interesting. And on the couch here are Floor and Manuk also here, and we will make this last episode together, which I think is a worthy closing of this Lustrum, right, Bas?
Especially. As you already said, it's a closing off of this Lustrum, and we have a really packed episode. Okay, sorry, I get some things from the producers there. So we have a really packed episode, and first off, we have a nice review of our own management from 2 weeks ago, where we actually had the beer tasting. Then we're going to our own aviation expert again. Before that, we're going to Airbase, a committee which has not been interviewed yet, but is still there for the Lustrum. Then we have our aviation expert Joris, of course. And what do we have then, Patrick?
Then indeed we go don't go to the news, because then we make a switch and there's Manuk, Floor and Giel taking over from us. And first they're going to look back with the Galaxy, who of course had their winter sport event. But they didn't have the gala yet, so just as with Airbase, maybe we can see if this Lustrum still has something in hold. They also will tell you about the entire making of the Lustrum CD, and then you will hear the Lustrum medley, the official Lustrum medley, with actually 2 or 3 more songs which you haven't heard yet. So I can see Manuk and Floor in the distance already vibing over here. It's so good to see. And then we go to the news, right, Sebas?
No, then we go back to Joris for the second part.
Yes, that's first, of course.
And then, indeed, we have the aviation and space news of yours truly, Arjan Vermeulen and Ralf Sunte, live in the studio here at Schiphol Airport. Then, maybe a bit of a surprise, but I think we had this location it was only announced for maybe a few days. It was only announced a few days back. So before that, we actually had another location, which was also at an airport, but not Schiphol. So more about that later. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the future, because we're going to close off this Lustrum in, I would say, a most epic way ever, in a wonderful view. But we also have another view, and that's the VS view to 5 years. 5 years time to 80 years VSV, right?
Yes, and I think looking forward, there's already something looking forward that we will know that is going to happen for the next 5 years, because there's a new corporate identity coming up of VSV TV, and we're presenting it live here.
You need to put your microphone
now it needs to be closer again.
Yes.
Okay, so we put a lot of effort in for you at home, so if there's any comments, just let us know, and we'll make this episode for you, so we'll try to make it better. Also, there's Leanne, our president, is closing off with a speech, and then there's also, to close off, some very special and interesting people that would like to congratulate our society. And I think that's hopefully a very worthy closing of this Lustrum. Talking about this Lustrum, we have some objects on our table. We have the Cube set, which is also an amazing part of this Lustrum. We have a beautiful KLM airplane, which is a proud main sponsor of this Lustrum. And in the middle, there's it just looks like a folder. It actually is a folder, but that's from Jet Support, because we cannot get this view without help of some key partners of the VSV. And Jet Support is actually a company at Schiphol East, which services. It's the biggest servicer for private jet flights. So if there's a private jet coming to Schiphol, it's probably handled and maintained by Jet Support. And we thank them really much for allowing us to film our final episode here. Because he said, if I, especially in these times, can do something to help you guys and help our students, why not? He just told us when he let us in here, and I think that's really nice that we can do that here today. Yeah, I think that's everything.
That's everything.
Oh, of course, obligatory notion that we're, again, 1.5 meters apart. We also traveled here by, I think, 4 cars and public transport, with, of course, a medical mondkapje. And so it was quite a hassle with everything to close it off this lustrum in a nice, but also safe way. And I think then, unless some of you have something to say, it's already time for our first item.
No, I think you finished that off perfectly. Coming up to the next item, that's the management. As already told, 2 weeks ago there was the beer tasting event of the management, and of course they made a little movie because they are the management, and why wouldn't you do it? Where they actually bring the beers to the guests that participated in the event. So I would say let's just watch the video, right?
Yes, and it's incredibly fun. It's already great to see some faces and how the atmosphere keeps connecting people even in this time. So I would say enjoy.
Just got back today. Them wild-eyed boys that had been away haven't changed, had much to say, but man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy. The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. You know that chick that used to dance a lot? Every night she'd be on the floor shaking while she died. Man, when I tell you she was cool, she was red hot. I mean, she was steaming. And that time over at Johnny's place, well, this chick got up and she slapped Johnny's face. Man, we just fell about the place. If that chick don't wanna know, forget her. The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town. I said, the boys are back in town. 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 The boys are back in town.
Op de paniek. Elke morgen wakker met een ijsje in je bed. Dan komt het Indiaanse piek. En was er een week en zo met de VSV. Wakker met een ijsje. Dat zit me toch wel mee.
Hello, it's day 2 of delivery. Whoop whoop. Team Beuna's is leaving right now for leaving the last few beers for the beer tasting tonight.
You spread the word around. Friday night they'll be dressed to kill down at Dino's Bar and Grill. The drink will flow and blood will spill. And if the boys wanna fight, you better let them. That jukebox in the corner blasting out my favorite song. The nights are getting warmer, it won't be long. Won't be long till summer comes.
We hebben besteld van VPN's net bier bezorgd. In het Engels eigenlijk. En natuurlijk moeten we ook weer eventjes onze handen wassen.
The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Spread the word around. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
Salute, it's me, Da Vinci. I did everything from painting to engineering. Allo, allo, it's me, Leonardo da Vinci. I did dream of the day that people fly. We build airplanes, rockets, satellites. Since 1945, we the VSV took flight. Engineering to the greatest heights. All our limits out of sight.
Yes,
Nice.
so there was a management with their new with their new video about the beer tasting event. I hope you all liked it. I definitely did that evening. So I love the beers, and of course I love the event as well because it was a bit personal, but still on a safe distance, just as we are here today.
And it was also nice that they brought it to you, which is actually more service than we've ever had. No, I'm just joking. No, it was really nice. Also, partly on VSV TV, and we all enjoyed it. And I said it's great that we can keep connecting people in that manner, right? You enjoyed it. We had some nice. What was your favorite beer?
Well, I really am a triple fan, so I love the triple Carmelite. So yes, why? Yeah, I love triple Carmelite. So
Nice.
it was my favorite beer. Yeah.
How do you think this first episode is going so far, boss?
This episode. Well, you might not see it, but I'm very nervous. But that doesn't matter because we have lots of people to talk to.
Yes,
and
exactly.
that's very nice. So for this we have Matti from Airbase,
Yes.
and we're going to have a nice. We would like to have a nice review about Airbase, but of course, during the current circumstances, that's not possible. But we might have something to cheer you guys up, but that's already a spoiler. So for this, I would like to invite Matti over.
Yes.
Matti, can you hear us?
And can we hear Matti? Arjan is very busy in the distance.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Ooh,
me?
yes, we can hear Matti now.
Yes, we can hear you as well.
And then I think
Yeah.
Arjan is going to put you online. And you are right now. I'm seeing in the distance. Welcome to the final episode of VSV TV, Matti. How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Nice, we're doing fine. Also, as the boss is, I'm also quite nervous because it's kind of a weird setting, but at least we have our fellow Lucy here to cheer us up. But enough about the Lucy because you're also here about for Airbase, as said. Can you tell us a bit about Airbase and yourself, of course? Can you introduce yourself to all the watchers of VSV TV?
I'm Matti and I'm part of the Airbase community. And I do the promotions. So I talk to you and I make posts for Instagram and Facebook. And I hope to promote the event. So that's what I do, basically.
Okay, very nice. But Airbase, to be honest, I know Airbase, but I can imagine that there are quite some people that don't know what Airbase is. Can you maybe elaborate a bit on the concept Airbase?
Yes, of course. It has been away for 3 years now. So, it was to be coming back on the 29th of May. And it's a really big faculty party in the Faculty of Aerospace Engineering. And the party is really in the entrance hall and in the cafeteria. So you can dance under the airplane, where you would normally just be walking and studying. And now you can party there and have a beer there. So that would be super cool. And there's a lot of great music, and it's a really big party. There were supposed to be like 1,000 people or something.
Yeah, that's quite a lot,
so-
right?
Yes, that is.
Yeah, so
think-
that actually makes Airbase very special, I would say, because we actually have a party in our own, very own faculty, which I must admit that doesn't happen often unless you go to the atmosphere, of course. But this is in a much greater sense, I would say. I'm not sure if that's the good translation.
Yeah, and it's not only in the atmosphere where parties like quite regularly happen, but actually in the aula, right, and in the cafeteria, Matti.
Yeah, exactly. where you can't party, but now you can.
Nice. That's so great. But unfortunately, right, I because of this Corona situation, we cannot, of course, have 1,000 people in our faculty at the same time. So I heard it. Unfortunately, was for this year cancelled. But I also heard that that was also a reason for you, like, to maybe even go way bigger than a normally airbase would. So can you tell us a bit about your plans for the coming up airbase, which I heard that also there's a bit of a hint in the name, right?
Yeah, there is. Well, we want to make an online event because we can't do it live. So then why not go online? And we want to make it even bigger than it was supposed to be in real life. And the cool thing is that we want to do it in a really special location, like an airbase. And nothing is certain yet, but I know it's going to be very cool. And I hope everyone is going to watch.
Yeah, we hope that too, and especially it's very nice if it would happen on an airbase or something like that, because that's, of course, where your name comes from.
What's in the name?
What's
you
in
can
the
always
name?
say.
Exactly. Are you? I can imagine that it was quite a struggle for you guys to switch from the normal concept to this online concept. But I can also imagine that this gives you quite some energy to go strong, right?
Yeah, because you have to think out of the box again. We planned a lot for the airbase that was to come. But now that the coronavirus is here, we came up with new ideas, and actually we're really excited about what we're doing now. So yeah, I hope it's going to be a really great success. And I hope we get a lot of cool artists and a really cool location.
So we hope too, because I would definitely be looking forward to it.
Definitely, yeah.
Nice. Sebastian, you have the questions.
I have the questions.
Yeah, so
sorry.
you can introduce the next question, because I don't know.
Well, about the questions, this is sort of a closing off already. So I would say definitely keep in touch with the VSV to look up to this idea. I definitely think when there's a definite concept that we will introduce it via the VSV or the Instagram or Facebook, mail, whatever. So definitely keep in touch with that. But Matti, then there's maybe a bit of a personal question, of course, which we always close off with, and I think I can give the honors to Patrick, but maybe in a bit different way, because this is actually the finale of the Lustrum. So I would say, Patrick, I give the honors to you to ask the last question.
Yeah, and normally we would ask, like, what are you looking forward to the rest of this Lustrum? And yeah, it might be a bit extended, because maybe we'll have an airbase somewhere later on. But is there also something that you would really say this Lustrum was? What in this Lustrum really was really cool in your opinion? What did you really like? And it can also be in a more general sense. So how did you feel this year about our festivities?
Well, of course, the VSV TV is amazing.
Woo, nice, and, good answer.
And I think it's also really cool how you set up such a Lustrum week very quickly, and that everyone was still able to connect and do cool events, although there are so many restrictions right now. So I like that the most, that you could still connect with people although you were at home.
Yeah, exactly. We also had a small conversation with the boss of Jet Support here today, who also told us that there's actually quite some innovation going on, and that right now in these circumstances we need to think about it in a different way. And I think that really is something we developed in this Lustrum, and also of course with your new concept with airbase, that's definitely going to happen in a new setting, and it's going to be great.
And I'm definitely going to watch. Are you?
Yes, I'm definitely going to watch as well.
It sounds so cool. I must say, I really want it to happen as well. So I wish you a lot of great fortune in organizing it, and hopefully it will be as spectacular as we think it's going to be, which I'm quite certain if it's going to happen at an airbase.
It's going to be great, right?
Yes. And I think then I would like to thank you for being on this very last episode of VSV TV. And yeah, we'll probably see you around, Matti.
I think so too.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Okay,
that was
so
Matti.
that was Matti. Maybe a small applause for Matti in this
Yes.
case.
Woo! So indeed that was Matti, and then I think it's already end of our first shift because we're going to introduce the first video part of our aviation expert Joris Melkert, who
Joris
has
Melkert.
a new aircraft and a new tie, of course.
A new tie as well. Yeah.
But he'll explain all about it, and then in the meantime, something will change, and who guesses it gets nothing probably because
A sticker.
he gets a Lustrum sticker. If you notice what changes after the video of yours, so let's go see it, I guess, right?
Yes, enjoy, guys.
And we will be like later. Enjoy.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you watch this video. The tie of the week is the tie for the 10th Lustrum, the 50th anniversary. Here you can see the 50th anniversary, and then it says Leonardo da Vinci, 10th Lustrum. So I saved this for the last 25 years, so I can show it off now for you today. Okay, last video in this series. The first video we spoke about metallic aircraft, aluminum aircraft, like this one. And then we moved on last week to aircraft made of wood. You can make a balsa or this very nice birch aircraft grade plywood. And last aircraft is going to be an aircraft made from carbon fiber composites. Very strong, very stiff. And this is a very special aircraft because this was designed by one of our professors. And those of you who take the design synthesis exercise, or took that a couple of years ago, definitely know this book. This is the Bible of aircraft design, written by Egbert Torenbeek. In the meantime, emeritus professor from our faculty. He's still alive, but he retired. And the professor was called Torenbeek, but this book was called the Toren Book. So this is really the Bible of aircraft design. Egbert Torenbeek was a rather famous aircraft designer. This book was translated in more than 50 languages over the course of history. And this is used in many companies still, and this really belongs in your cupboard as well, in your collection of books. He made a very large series of designs in the due course of his career, and one of them we have in our collection. But I first want to show another picture of him, another design, and that's this thing here. In his career, somewhere in the 70s, mid-70s, he did a sabbatical in the United States, and then he designed this large cargo aircraft. And when he retired, he gave this drawing to me. He even signed it to me. So I'm one of the very few proud owners of a real Torenbeek. I don't own a Rembrandt, I don't own a Van Gogh, but I do own a Torenbeek. And there's not many people in the world who can say that. Okay, let's now move to the aircraft hangar. Let's move to the aircraft. Okay, here we're in the aircraft hangar again, and this is the aircraft we're talking about. This is the Extra 400 aircraft. It's a fully carbon fiber aircraft. You can look at the inside in a minute, but let me tell the story about this aircraft. The factory Extra Flugzeugbau, a German company who was started by Walter Extra, so it's not nothing to do with Extra, but that was just the name of the guy. He was very famous for his aerobatic aircraft. Last week we saw the wing of the Extra 300 aerobatic aircraft. But after a while, so mid-90s, he decided, I would like to develop a small commuter aircraft, 6-person aircraft for a couple thousand kilometers maximum, a nice turbocharged engine, pressurized cabin so you could fly pretty high, very sleek. And for that idea he approached Egbert Torenbeek to see, can you help me with the design of this aircraft? And so he did. He designed the aerodynamics of the aircraft. The wing, we'll see in a minute, also was designed by one of our experts, Luc Boermans, who was a very famous expert in sailplane wing designs. But he made a very nice slender wing for this with a very nice flap system. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then we also did the structural design of this. Fully in carbon fiber. That structural design was led by Michel van Toren, now professor in San Diego. And the interesting thing is, all carbon fiber, pressurized fuselage. And the very interesting thing is that normally in an aircraft you have frames to make the form of the fuselage, and then the skin is put on the outside of those frames. In this case, that's reverse. In this case, the skin is put on the inside of the frames. So then there's frames, you can see the frames in a minute here. And then the actual load-bearing skin is on the inside of the frames, and on the top of the frames there's just an aerodynamic cover of that layer. And thereby you can change the stress concentration, the lowering of the skin to a much better, more favorable situation. You cannot do that in a metal aircraft, you cannot do that in a wooden aircraft, but you can do that in a composite aircraft, where you can just mold the fibers as you like. So let's take a look inside. If you look in the rear, you can see the curvature of the pressure bulkhead. You can clearly see that this is a pressurized fuselage. You can see the nice interior, a sandwich-like structure, and at several places, just like over here, you can see one of these frames of the fuselage, and you can even see more in the front frame, and you can see that the skin is on the inside of the frame. The outer skin is just for aerodynamic purposes only. What you can also clearly see is the place where we store the landing gear. You can see the place where the nose gear goes. You can see the place where the main gear goes. This was the main entrance, and you're now being filmed from the point of the escape hatch in the fuselage.
Hello everybody, welcome back from Melket's first contribution to the VSV TV. Stay tuned for part 2. As you can see, there has been a change of scenery, or a change of people at least, as you can see. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi. This is our first time live, so I guess we're all pretty nervous, or I should speak for myself. Nope. I'm pretty nervous, but I'm sure it's all gonna be fine. Now onto something completely different. Namely, we're going to interview somebody. We're going to interview a member of a fellow Lustrum committee, Sophie Gaming from the Galaxy. Sophie, can you hear us? No? There are some technical difficulties.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, Sophie,
you hear
I
me?
can hear you too. Amazing.
Okay, great.
Okay, so Sophie, we were wondering.
Yeah.
To view back on this what has been a strange but very nice Lustrum year, can you tell us a bit, apart from the WISPO, of course, what was your favorite event and why?
Well, I have to say the Active Members Weekend, of course, because I also had part in organizing it. But I guess you're asking for a Lustrum activity, and that would definitely be the Belgian beer drink, because that was just amazing this year.
The Belgian beer drink was very nice. We were all there in our Lustrum suits. Okay, so you organized the WISPO, of course, as part of the Galaxy. Can you tell us a bit, how was that?
Well, I guess what's different from other years is that usually first years organize it, and they obviously have never been on a VSV WISPO. So what was really cool was that I have been on a WISPO, and then, you know what they say, when planning a trip, half the fun is just imagining it and planning it, etc. And, well, I just had half a year of the pre-fun, basically, of the WISPO. So that was really cool, and I could already see it coming together from what I knew from the previous years, and I could really try to make this the best WISPO I've been on.
That's very cool to hear.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Of course, you had another big event coming up after the winter sports. However, the gala could not be there because of Corona, of course. But we have heard some rumors that there might be a gala. So can you elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, but because the gala is not really an activity you can replace easily by something different, we try to postpone it to next year maybe. But it's still, it's not really sure yet. We are keeping in contact with all the people, but the question is if we can do it in the first quarter or maybe start of second quarter, it's going to happen. But of course, the Galaxy and me, we're all in different committees coming here. So if it will not happen the first quarter or second quarter, sadly we will have to wait another 5 years.
Aw. Yeah,
So
that sounds.
yeah, they're still hoping that it will still happen this calendar year, but we're not sure.
Yeah, definitely. If I just speak for myself, I was really looking forward to the gala. Definitely,
Yeah.
since you
Same.
experienced it only once in your studies.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I
Yeah.
hope you study like short enough to not witness too. But so I think I'm not the only one, but the whole Lucy and all other active members are probably really hoping to have a gala even in 2020 still. So yeah, niet hopen, I know. But I
Thanks for your
know
input,
that
Betty.
you not only did the gala cocktail drink during the Lustrum month, but you also worked on something really cool and big together with Floor, naming the Lustrum CD. So I would like to ask you about the experience working on that.
Yeah, that was actually funny. It all started the Friday before the Wispo when Floor texted me like, "Hey, I really want a Lustrum CD and nobody's working on it yet. So do you maybe want to work on it with me?" And then she said, "But you can wait after the Wispo." And I said, "Okay, sure." And then during the Wispo on the last day, Leanne asked me like, "Hey, there should be a a Lustrum CD. Do you want to work on it with me?" And I was like, "Hey, maybe we have a team of 3 here." So in the ride back from the Wispo, Leon and I came up with the song Bakken met een ijsje. And yeah, after that we try to work on it a little bit. But now during the quarantine, we worked on it even more, and we try to get people to record it. We rewrote all the songs, and yeah, we're almost finished now. So
Yeah, almost there. But like you said, we couldn't have done it alone, and of course, we didn't do it alone. So, what do you think? I think it's time to thank some people, right?
yeah, for sure.
All right. It wasn't even scripted. Amazing. So, first of all, Leanne, of course, thank you for joining the Lustrum CD team and just helping us amazingly. Amazing songwriting as well. A real contribution. But also all the other people that have contributed to the Lustrum CD. The singing, the writing, just the ideas, the input, everything. So I would like to give a shout out to Misha, Lina, Yara, Lizzie, Alune, Julia, Pippa, and DJ. If I forget. And rightfully so. Echt great job, guys. I think we all can be really proud of what we did. And thank you, Sophie, for this amazing interview. I think now it's time to get into more depth of the Lustrum CD.
Yeah.
Because, of course, this year we wanted the VSV to be broadcasted to the world. Oh my god. And also, we wanted to start the musical legacy of the VSV Leonardo da Vinci.
Faux.
We wanted to position the VSV Leonardo da Vinci.
Faux.
I did not know this was gonna happen. So we wanted to position the VSV Leonardo da Vinci between between the great names of the current musical industry. Names as Justin Bieber, Dua Lipa, Gwen Stefani, maybe
Beyonce.
10 years ago. Beyonce,
You sure you want to
of
go with
course.
Justin Bieber here?
Maybe we can
All
see Beyonce here in
feminist.
a private jet somewhere. We don't know. You never know. This is all live. And of course, never forget Joey Bada $sign. So now, without further ado, we would like to show you the mix of all the Lustrum songs in one video. Truly a sonic experience, if you ask me. The songs are played in the order they will be in the CD. And this also means that 2 new songs that aren't released yet, you can hear for the first time at this very moment.
Ooh.
So I would say, tune in, listen well, and enjoy the video.
Feel free to sing along.
Wakker met een ijsje in je bed, open je ogen en je voelt al de paniek. Elke morgen wakker met een ijsje in je bed. Als het binnen is begin je aan je piek. Het was me een weekend zo met de VSV. Wakker met een ijsje, dat zit me toch wel mee. Nu ben ik weer tevreden.
Salute, it's me, Da Vinci. I did everything from painting to engineering. Allo, allo, it's me, Leonardo da Vinci. I did dream of a day that people fly. We build airplanes, rockets, satellites. Since 1945, we the VSV to flight, engineering to the greatest heights. All our limits out of sight. We build airplanes, rockets, satellites. Since 1945, we the VSV to flight, engineering to the greatest heights. All our limits out of sight.
And we're back. So that was our very great preview of some 3 new songs. And of course the Lustrum CD. Which is great. And perhaps we can even listen on Spotify this summer.
Perhaps. Because
Big
there's
summer
definitely a summer hit in there.
There's definitely a summer hit in there.
2020.
Okay, so now we want to go back to the next item, which is the second part of our aviation expert Joris Melkert with his 15th anniversary tie. So that's really cool. So let's go to Joris Melkert.
Yeah, what we're seeing here is the flying prototype of the aircraft. This aircraft was used for the very first flight test. I also once had the pleasure to be flown by Walter Extra in this aircraft. And you could really notice that he was into aerobatic aircraft because he could do aerobatics with this aircraft as well, and he did. What's also interesting is that we have a very sleek, narrow fuselage, just for aerodynamic purposes, and that caused some trouble for the design of the landing gear. If you look into websites like Wikipedia, you can see that the firm called Komolczyk designed this undercarriage, but actually Torenbeek did the design. And he made it such that a very nice but rather difficult folding motion. The aircraft has the landing gear folding forward into the fuselage, where it only consumes a minimum amount of space. We've seen that from the inside. But this is a very complicated maneuver the landing gear has to do in order to get into the fuselage and make the nice aerodynamic shape stay in flight. We're here with the wing of the aircraft, and here you can see that this has been a realistic wing. This also was the wing of the flying prototype, but this flying prototype was also used for the fatigue testing. And that's why you see these red structures here, and that's the same as what you do in the wing box load test. You load the structure with a nice aerodynamic load or a simulation of the aerodynamic load. What you also can see, if you move a little bit in that direction, that there's all kind of strain gauges on the aircraft. For instance, here you can see that people have removed the painting, and on the bare carbon fiber structure there are strain gauges, and those were used in the load testing as well. After the fatigue testing, they did an ultimate load test in order to see when the structure would break. And we can also see that if we move back here, and if we zoom in carefully, you can see here that this was the place of the failure of the ultimate load test. You can see cracks in the spar here, a very thick carbon fiber structure, but in the end it did crack. But you can also nicely see that this has an integral fuel tank. The integral fuel tank you can see inside here, and you can even see the floats that indicate you the level of fuel still remaining in the tank. What you cannot see from this side, and unfortunately we don't have them on site, is the design of the flaps. This aircraft had a very long span flap, only a relatively small aileron for control. That was more than enough, because it's a very slender wing, a very large aspect ratio, very relatively large span. So the arm for the ailerons is large enough to make the roll control sufficient. So there was a large span, Fowler flap to make the aircraft fly slow. This was fully integrated in the structure. Luc Boermans designed that. And by introducing that flap into the design, the stall speed went from 76 knots to a very astonishing 58 knots. So you could make this a very slow landing plane, and thereby you could use smaller runways. And that, in fact, the design of the wing was very, very good. Well, the fuel tank was consuming a large portion of the wing, so all the controls had to go via the leading edge in this so-called D-nose structure. Here you can see the control cables going all the way to the ailerons over there. We got this aircraft after they finished the flight testing, after they finished the structural testing, and became a part of our collection. It's a very nice addition to our collection. In the end, the aircraft was not that successful. They developed even a turboprop version of it, but also that didn't sell that well, so in the end only 27 of them were built. But this is a very nice addition to our collection, where you can show how you design a carbon fiber aircraft and make use of the flexibility of the fibers. Carbon fibers will not necessarily give you a weight gain, maybe 5–10% maximum, but it gives you much more freedom in the aerodynamic shape, and thereby reduce the aerodynamic drag of the aircraft and improve the lift performance. So in that sense, it's a very nice example in our collection.
Okay, another very interesting aviation insight by Joris Melkert.
You knew all this already, of course, right?
Well, materials is not my strongest point. But I think on behalf of the production, we still have for later in this episode an extended mix of the Lustrum numbers. So you can definitely stay tuned for that. But now it's on to our weekly aviation and space news.
It's not just weekly, right? This time?
No, not this time. But once again, a change of scenery, at least in the foreground. In the background we still have some very nice KLM planes and also a couple of Falcon aircraft. Sadly for you, not the Falcon Heavy rockets. But the news update this week is a bit different than normal. Because instead of only looking back at last week's news, Arjan and I dived into the archives of the last 5 years.
Yeah, what happened since the last Lustrum, and basically we'll be looking at the past 5 years on a year-by-year basis, as well as looking a bit into the future. What can we see during Lustrum 16?
Yes, so we try to find some defining moments and highlights from the past 5 years since Lustrum 14 up and away. So I think I'll start closer to Earth with aviation, and then it's on to you for the space update.
Alright, kick it off.
Yeah, so it was still in the first Lustrum year when the first commercial aircraft of the Airbus A350 flight was performed. It was operated by Qatar Airways between Doha and Frankfurt on the 15th of January of 2015. The A350 extra wide body, it's a really revolution for a long-haul aircraft. The aircraft featured many advancements in materials, propulsion and aerodynamics. And by now Airbus has delivered over 360 of these A350s, which is their answer to the Boeing 787.
Which I believe you can see in the background here.
Yes, we have a beautiful KLM 787, which was just towed to the hangar. And then going a year further, 2016 featured an important milestone for our own Royal Netherlands Air Force, because the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning made the first visit to the Netherlands. And this marks the transition of the RLAF to the so-called 5th generation fighter. And I think even during their arrival flight, they made a tour of the Netherlands, even passing right over Delft.
Yeah, even over the faculty, I believe.
Even over the faculty, yes. I remember well that we were standing with a large group of students on the field next to the fellowship, welcoming their the F-35. Sadly, they only stayed for 2 weeks to do some testing around the air bases. Then they flew back to the States. Only last year in October, the first operational aircraft for the Dutch Air Force was delivered. And then some more sad news from 2017, because it marked the end of an era for Dutch aviation craftsmanship, when KLM retired the Fokker 70. For an incredible 97 years, KLM operated various types of Fokker aircraft, ranging from the Fokker 2 to the Friendship and the famous Fellowship, which is also what the study building of aerospace is named after. The last flight was operated on the 28th of October from London to Heathrow to Amsterdam. The design arm of Fokker already went bankrupt in 1996, so by then an end came to the aircraft built on Dutch soil. But since then, Fokker Technologies is now part of GKN Aerospace and a very good partner in various events of the VSV. And they are still active in the design and production of various aircraft parts and aircraft interiors. And 2017 was also a remarkable year for aviation safety. Of course, one of the most important points, if not the most important points, in the design of aircraft. According to Dutch aviation consultant 270, 2017 was the safest year in commercial aviation history. There were no fatal accidents with jet aircraft. The only 3 fatal commercial accidents involved small turboprop aircraft. And this is especially amazing considering air travel has been growing, I think, for 3% every year. This year will be a lot different, of course. But the consultant computed a fatal accident rate of 1 in every 12 million flights. So I think that's a testament to the aircraft and aviation engineers working all over the world to design aircraft as safe as possible.
Nice, that's really good news. Let's hope the trend continues.
Definitely. And then 2018 saw the rebirth of ultra long-haul flights. This can partly be attributed to the advancements in fuel efficiency and the low oil price. And because Singapore Airlines started a non-stop service from Singapore to New York with a modified Airbus A350-900 ultra long range. This flight is over 15,000 kilometers long, and it can take as long as 18.5 hours. Well, you know, I love flying, but I will be hesitant to take a flight this long. And the same year, Qantas launched a direct flight between Perth and London. Also the first commercial flight between Australia and Europe. And the Australian airline is also challenging both Airbus and Boeing to come up with an aircraft that is capable of flying Sydney to London non-stop. So
How far is that?
I think that also will be in the 18 to 19 hour range. So that's definitely maybe a challenge for Airbus and Boeing that we will see in the coming years for aircraft development. And then 2018 also unraveled into a calamity for Boeing. On October 29, a Lion Air 737 MAX crashed into the Java Sea near Indonesia. And only a couple of months later, in March 2019, the same aircraft type crashed in Ethiopia. And in the subsequent investigations, design flaws came to light with respect to the flight control system and especially the now infamous MCAS system. Also, the certification process of the FAA has been heavily criticized, and as a result, worldwide the Boeing 737 MAX fleet has been grounded for months now, while Boeing works on fixes. The production was also halted, but I think we already updated you in last week's episode that the company has gradually started to assemble the MAX again. So let's hope the errors have been fixed and we can continue with a safe and modern and fuel-efficient aircraft as soon as possible. And then last year, our very own TU Delft and the faculty made the headlines all around the world with the design of the Flying V project. You can't have missed it in the faculty and during other events. Aimed at making flying more sustainable. In the meantime, we have one of the police helicopters landing right behind us. probably going off on a flight in Amsterdam.
A lot less loud and a lot less efficient, or more loud and less efficient than the Flying V, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know if they already made sound testing on the Flying V, but yes, it's really a revolutionary design if you look at it. Because based on the aerodynamics alone, the aircraft is supposed to enable a decrease in 20% in fuel burn compared to the Airbus A350. So that's not only better for the prices of airline tickets, but of course also for the environment. And TU Delft works closely with KLM to develop this concept.
Very cool.
Yeah. And talking about KLM, you might also not have missed it last year. The Royal Dutch Airlines celebrated their 100th birthday. Actually, that makes KLM the first airline in the world to turn 100, still operating under its original name. And of course, that's quite a feat from an airline from such a small country, which started here basically right behind us at Schiphol Airport, which was just a polder and a swamp over 100 years ago. Still operating today. And then we end up in the present, 2020.
Yes.
Yes, what should have been another great year for aviation with full of developments, growth and innovation has turned into what many airline CEOs call the worst crisis in aviation history. You can see it in the pictures. We can even see it right behind us at the Alsmeerbaan, where all the KLM aircraft are parked, and we can see scenes from this around the world. And yeah, we can only hope that this situation will recover quickly, so that people and companies can recover and get healthy and back to travel again.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yes. So this was the last 5 years.
Yeah, so what do you think is going to happen in the coming 5 years? Do you have any predictions?
Well, it's a difficult one because aviation is driven by innovation, and for innovation you need money, and we see that around the world aircraft manufacturers like Boeing, Airbus, but also the airlines are now strapped for cash. It will be difficult to find a balance between still spending money for innovation and becoming better, more sustainable, safer. But at the same time, they will have to have a period to recover from this crisis. So I think it will be very interesting to see where aviation is in 5 years. Of course, we hope for the best scenario, that the recovery is as quick as possible, and that in 5 years, Lustrum 16 can celebrate another look back on another 5 years full of developments and innovation and a flourishing aviation and aerospace sector.
Yeah, maybe we'll even see some contributions, of course, by TU Delft Aerospace Engineering. As you mentioned, for example, the Flying V project. And I know there's quite a lot of research at our faculty into more sustainable aviation, looking more into the future. So who knows?
Yes, of course, it would be great if in all these innovations, the TU Delft and our own faculty, and maybe even the students watching now, can play a big role.
Yeah, let's hope so. That flying goes back to the glorious thing it always was.
Yes, that would be very nice.
All right, do you know what is actually glorious still?
Well, I think you have some very nice space updates for us.
Yes, I do. Of course, you took us into the major milestones of aviation. Oh, that's creative. Do we have the slides in order? Okay. Here you go. It goes by very quickly. Thank you. But I'm going to take you through sort of a transformation, a change in space that I think has been happening throughout the last 5 years. Because space had become a bit boring. You know, the days of the moon program were over. The ISS was built. The space shuttle was scrapped. And people sort of forgot about space. And then I think the first mission that was actually really cool was in 2015. We had the New Horizons probe visiting the very small planet of Pluto. Well, back then I believe it wasn't even a planet anymore. But they produced this beautiful picture. It's absolutely stunning. It's not true color, sadly, but I think this is the first time in a long while that space actually made the news again. And next to that, also in 2015, we saw an ESA mission. Not actually purely ESA, it was a combination between ESA, NASA, and the Italian Space Agency. to an asteroid, and it has a very complex name. You can read it up here. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but we know it as Rosetta. It's of course the mission to the comet, to this duck-shaped ball of ice and rock flying throughout our solar system. And actually trying to orbit such a comet is such an amazing feat of engineering. You know, around the Earth you get some speed, you keep going. But in this case, Rosetta had to manually, using thrusters, keep its orbit without any form of manual control, because the communications delay is almost 30 minutes. And in addition to that, because of course it's not just enough to go there and take some pictures, they also took a lander, and you can see it. You can see it in the picture. It was called Philae. Sadly, something went wrong during the landing. They assumed that it bounced off because of the insanely low gravity of this comet. But after a while, there was a change in the sunlight, and it did wake up, and it managed to get some pictures of the surface. And yeah, I think this is that we can take this kind of pictures from an object that is so astronomically far away. I think that's very inspiring. And speaking of inspiring things, 2016 was, of course, the year of... It was the year, I'll give you a hint, it's the year where rockets started doing what airplanes can do.
Oh, now
we started landing them.
Even I have not missed the efforts of SpaceX and their landing Falcon rockets.
Of course, nowadays it's almost not even special anymore when they pull this off, but it took a lot of explosions, and it wasn't actually, of course, it was not SpaceX's Elon Musk that was the first. It was Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his company Blue Origin that managed to land their rocket first. And then very quickly afterwards, SpaceX also put one down on a terrestrial launch pad before resuming their attempts into landing at sea, which is ridiculously difficult. They are taking something the size of a skyscraper that is moving at Mach 10, and they're landing it on a football field in the middle of the ocean, and it's working. And yeah, just to say with aviation, sustainability is very important. The amount of money, but also resources and climate this saves might truly be the future of spaceflight.
Yeah, and I think if you want to launch a payload into space, if you make use of a recycled rocket, you even get a discount.
Yeah, quite a big one.
So yeah, the bargains of the space payload
yes,
missions.
Indeed. Well, then onto a mission that was slightly less economic. However, actually it was, because as I was saying, there's some trends in spaceflight, and one of them is that it's becoming more cool. But also, there are some throwbacks to the past. Cassini is a mission that definitely contributed to this. It was an insane mission, perhaps the most successful mission we have ever seen, because of how long it spent there. Because 2017 was the year where it actually crashed into Saturn, but before that it had been there for quite a long time, almost 13 years. And the picture you see here on the left, I think that is the second most striking space picture we have seen in the past 5 years. And if you look on this picture, you'll see 3 dots. The left two most one are Mars and Venus, but the rightmost one, the very, very bright one, that is actually Earth. And as you can see, this is one of the few pictures we're going to have in this presentation where all of us are actually in it. And this was it. This was a throwback to the Voyager 1 mission, where we for the first time took a picture from more than 6 billion kilometers away, imagine. And famous astronomer Carl Sagan, he had a quote about that, and he said, look at this dot. It's a pale blue dot. And that dot, that 0.4 pixels, that's here. That's home. And those were words that really inspired spaceflight back in the days, and now we have this mission, which was completely crazy. In order to even get there, it was the first probe to actually enter an orbit around Saturn. It had to do a braking maneuver moving through the gaps in the rings, of course, because else you're going to hit the ring and break up, using its antenna as a shield for the debris, so it couldn't communicate with Earth, pulled it off, put a lander on Titan, visited approximately 5 more moons, discovered 4 new ones, and then in the end it still hadn't filled yet, and they just decided to crash it into Saturn because they were afraid that it would maybe contaminate the moon. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And speaking of amazing things, we're gonna move to what I think is the most striking picture of the past 5 years. It's of course the Space Tesla, yeah. And this is the second trend I really want to highlight, the ongoing privatization of space. Space is becoming something that is more for everyone. And I think this picture of Elon Musk's own personal Tesla with his spacesuit in it, Earth in the background, really captures that. Space is no longer something that just NASA and ESA do. well, not we, but people can do it. We can go to space. And we're going to see that back in more efforts that we'll talk to when we look towards the future. Then in 2019, and this is a bit of an oddball, you might not actually know this, but we had the light sail mission. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No, this is the first time. Enlighten us.
Well, as you know, it's actually ridiculously difficult to reach another star. You know, you're going to need to travel at least 50% of light speed. You're not going to reach that speed with a conventional engine. So the idea of light sail is they launched this, you can see a picture here, of a very, very tiny satellite. And they launch a whole swarm of them, so they can all take a bit of computing power with them. And they have these big reflective sails, and they just aim a massive laser at it and use it to shoot it towards several percent of light speed. This was just a test, but the concept has been proven. So maybe in a few years' time, we'll see the first pictures from another star. Imagine that. And then, of course, 2020. I mentioned it before, spaceflight's becoming cool again, and now it's finally also true for manned spaceflight. We discussed it in great extent on VSV TV already. These two brave gentlemen and their glittery dinosaur tremor. Yeah, did you see the launch?
I did, and of course, the most beautiful thing was when they announced the name of their capsule.
Yes, indeed, because they, as the first people in that capsule that rode it to orbit, they had the honor to name it. And of course, they had us in mind, and they named it Endeavor.
And did you also see how Elon Musk in person spelled it on his Twitter tweet?
The same way that it's on my slippers.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that truly captured this spirit of manned spaceflight returning to the world is the picture on the right. I don't think a lot of people noticed it. The quality is also kind of crappy because I screenshot it from the stream. But this is what they did when they heard that the booster had landed. The guy on the right, he extended his fist and they just fist bump. And by now they're safely in the ISS and should be returning in a few months' time. So yeah, I think that wraps up the big development I think we've seen in space over the past years. It's become cool again, people are getting involved again, and it's not just something that... It's no longer the far from my bed away show that it always was. It's getting closer, more people are getting engaged, and of course we're seeing the return of manned spaceflight. And as an aviation expert, you do everything with manned flight. So what do you think is the future for that?
Yeah, well, as you already touched upon, it's also a case of making space more interesting for the general public. And I think how a company like SpaceX now basically employs that with indeed the Tesla event, launching it into space.
I think also their live streams where they explain what they're doing at mission control is also really cool.
Yeah, I think it's making space more relatable to people. That is more in the general mainstream news instead of only in academia or specific space news sites. And of course that is a challenge for many space-related entities. Making space more available to the people. Of course, it's also what the VSV has been doing with the CubeSat project, trying to engage children and pupils from a young age for maybe space engineering in specific or engineering and STEM in general. So how do you look forwards to the privatization of space? I mean, it used to be only NASA, ESA, the Russians, and Japan for years. Now we're seeing SpaceX, other companies. Will it continue? Will they replace NASA, or will they still just basically provide products for NASA to still launch to the ISS?
I think private space in general, especially SpaceX, has really shown that it is possible to do this cheaper. They've finally started to play the commercial game instead of just launching rockets, because a Falcon 9 launch costs approximately 70 million, whereas a launch of the space shuttle cost 450 million. And even the Ariane 5, for example, is several times as expensive as the Falcon 9. But you're now seeing developments, for example, the Ariane 6 that they're building. It's also becoming a lot cheaper. We're focusing on more accessible space. And I think agencies like NASA and ESA will always have their role, but more in a scientific role.
Yeah. And of course, next to the commercial products by SpaceX for companies like NASA or organizations like NASA, you also have the development that commercial space companies want to send people in space who just pay a lot of money for the experience. So not necessarily scientists going to the International Space Station, but just very rich people going out of sight of the atmosphere to just say they will reach space. Do you think that commercial side of companies like SpaceX and Virgin Galactic will take off?
Well,
quite literally.
Isn't that really how global aviation started? When flying was still cool.
Yes, but of course we are talking about magnitudes more money now for a space launch. As you said, maybe $70 million.
Yeah, but the private space launchers are offering them for way lower prices. Usually using other technologies as well. So they're talking more 200,000, 300,000. Something that is affordable to a casual millionaire.
Okay, so if you win the Staatsloterij, would you go up there with Virgin Galactic or one of the other companies?
I was afraid of this question. I can't even handle a roller coaster, so thank you very much.
Okay. Okay.
But, yeah, maybe we'll see them launching from here in 5 years' time. Who knows?
Yes. So, do you have any more nice prospects for the future of space?
Well, not for the coming 5 years, but maybe with a bit of luck, Lustrum 20 will see man on Mars. Who knows?
That would be really amazing. As we said, in 5 years, a lot of can happen, especially when you see the acceleration in space engineering right now. So let's hope in 5 years or in 10 years, we indeed have people on the moon again, or even on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the next item, we will return to aviation. Last week, Giel and I visited Rotterdam The Hague Airport, and we got a look in the air traffic control tower there at Rotterdam Airport. So we're going to watch a clip of that right now.
The first applause.
Hello everyone, we're here today at the Rotterdam The Hague Airport to visit the air traffic control tower. Rotterdam has had an airport since 1920, named Waalhaven. Before the Second World War, it turned into a military airbase and was destroyed so that the Germans couldn't use it. They rebuilt the airport here, at 16hoven. Sadly, not 15hoven.
Aww.
This airport has been built in 1956 for the economic interests of Rotterdam as a city. Recently, it has been renamed Rotterdam The Hague Airport due to the government being here, being close in The Hague. Lots of world leaders, when they come to the Netherlands, land right here on this airport. This airport is located between Rotterdam and The Hague, which obviously is where the name comes from. But mostly it's located between Delft and Rotterdam. And from the air traffic control tower, you can even see the campus and our own faculty. Also, this airport is the home of both the ambulance helicopter and our very famous own faculty aircraft, the PA Lab. Now, everyone except most third years right now know that it's right here, so you come here for your flight test flying in the PA Lab. Also, Transavia is one of the biggest airliners right here on this airport. Now let's take a look and interview one of the air traffic controllers right there. Okay, Vincent, so we're in the air traffic control tower. What do you do here? What's your job?
Well, my name is Vincent. I'm an air traffic controller for Luchtverkeersleiding Nederland. Well, my job in the tower is to make sure that all the planes which are flying around, that they do not collide. So that's your job in essential. The planes know where to go. They have their own navigation systems. They know the way to their destinations, but they have no idea of other planes around them. So our job is to inform them and to separate them to make sure that they all come home safely.
Okay, sounds fun. What do you like most about your job here?
Well, the job here at Rotterdam is very diverse. So sometimes you have small aircraft, just a single propeller engine for the guys who just want to fly for fun. But you also have the jet airliners, the holiday traffic as you see now. But a lot of other things like helicopters. We have an ambulance helicopter at this airport all the time. Other days you might have a visit from military jet fighters or military helicopters as well. So this mix, that's just the fun about it.
Okay.
During our visit, the airport had no commercial flights. The terminal was deserted. However, this week, Transavia announced it would start flying again from Rotterdam on June 18th.
Okay, so what's your job now compared to what it was before Corona? Is there a lot of change? Is it less exciting right now?
Well, as you all know, there's way less traffic. It's where beforehand we had like 50 movements of commercial airliners every day, but those are now all grounded. So, but it's not that there's nothing to do now. We have still got the business jets. There's still the lifeliner helicopters. There's still flying around for fun. Well, with the weather right now, it's really busy actually. So there is still a lot of work to do for us, and we are still here 24 hours a day to just make sure that they can all fly.
Okay.
Now it's us
Yes.
again.
So
We're back.
it's us again, indeed, and that was a movie at Rotterdam The Hague Airport.
Where we might have been as well.
Where we might have been as well when we were going back a week ago. But however, we got a nice call from someone we know, one of our partners, that we actually can be right here at Schiphol Airport again, with a little bit better visibility now than at the beginning of this episode. Talking about the future, we had Ralph and Arjan talking about the future of space and aviation, but however, there's also a future in a bit of a different way, which is the future of aviation and space, which is the VSV, of course.
Yeah.
Because we as students represent the future of aviation and space. And talking about this future, maybe a small recap. What would you think in 5 years?
I don't know what I should think, but I do know what I want to hope, and I just hope that what we've seen this year, this Lustrum, is it was so inspiring to see how innovative our students of our society can be, and I just hope that we just keep aiming to be that innovative and start for the next 5 years maybe we'll not. When we don't have corona measures again, we can still connect people, we can still inspire people to be part of our beautiful sector, and I just hope that we can do that can keep in that endeavor and to strive for more than we could think of when we started this. Like I could never thought a week ago that it would be here in front of the apron at Schiphol Airport holding this last talk, and we managed, and I think if we can set our mind to it with VSV, then we can do it and we can make amazing things happen. I definitely hope that will be the main priority of our members in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with your words. Some very nice words spoken about the future. And of course, maybe to talk a bit about the future as well. We have one of our own very nice teams, which is probably and hoping to launch a CubeSat into space.
Yes, of course.
And of course, that's one endeavor to remember, of course. And that's one thing. But talking about the future,
yes,
there's also another future coming up, and this is the future of our own brand, right?
Yes, because we got tired of the Pentagon in our corporate identity. That's a different Pentagon, of course, from the Study Society Pentagon, which we love. But yeah, our corporate identity, as said, we made such a change with the VSV, and we are so innovative in this Lustrum, and we think that also we need to change something that also changes the identity of the VSV in that way and what we stand for. So that also means updating our corporate identity. And some of our board members, Tessa and Nikki, have been very involved in that. And with the board, we of course looked for inspiration everywhere, and we documented every step of finding inspiration for the new corporate identity of the VSV, which will be released. But first, you can see our search for that corporate identity, and hopefully you can spot it somewhere along and know what it will look like. So I'd say enjoy.
looks very promising, right?
Yes, and you could already see us make some sketches. But the question is, will there be an iron in there, or will there be a 10 euro bill? We're about to find out, because lined up is some first shots of the corporate identity that will go in effect directly when we present it. So maybe Arjan, you can start the presentation, which you have, and this is the first shot of the new corporate identity of the VSV. We just want to show you some nice big changes that change, different to the last thing. And the first thing you can immediately see is the simplicity, but also the new type font. The old type font was a bit out of date, and it hasn't been changed that much, and it was already here for quite a long time. And we felt that just as the VSV is a very new and innovative society, we also felt that our type font should represent that. So that's the first slide. Maybe we can go to the next one as well. We can see what the type font looks like in normal text, and it's way more subtle than the very hard type font that we have right now. We can also see the main colors that the VSV is going to have. Now it's this light blue and black, but we're going to a bit of grayish blue and more soft red. And we think that those are nice, but even better, next to this there's also going to be a hard green. And we can use those colors to identify the 3 pillars of the VSV. So every different event in career, social, or education will have its own color. So you can also recognize from our promotion which one is which.
I have to admit, mind is blown. It's wow. Yeah.
And if you want to see like how that goes, you can just take a look at Instagram tomorrow, because there will be the first post of the overview of next week, and we will use this new identity. And as you can say, we can also apply it to aircraft and different backgrounds with the different colors in text of our thing. Or we'll do it in documents of the VSV, we'll do it in our emails that we send every day, we'll do it in a PowerPoint presentation, in our Instagram templates, and we'll try to see it back everywhere. So you can take a look at it and know that's the VSV from now on, hopefully for a very long time.
Amazing.
So that was something new, but also something new. I think it's nice that we also look back to see what we've achieved, and that means that we have a new speech from our president, because he will give an end speech right for this Lustrum month, correct?
Yes. So that actually means that this is the end, guys.
No, not yet. No,
but the end of it's gonna be the end of our Lustrum month.
Yes.
So I don't know. Would be a bit emotional, but after that, of course, we still have our very nice teaser video, and then we have the real closing off. But first, I would say go to Iliane, of course, and
you definitely want to stick around, because the final congratulative video of our partners we have lined up. It's amazing to see, so definitely stay tuned. But first, we go to our president, which is officially closing this Lustrum month of festivities. So I would say enjoy looking to Leanne's.
Hey guys, this is the unofficial closing of the Lustrum. It's the last episode of VSV TV, and thereby closing the Lustrum month. I think it was only about a month ago or so that I sat here in this exact same position, except that then I was interviewed by Patrick and by Sebastian. And I just watched it back, because actually you can watch back all those episodes on YouTube, just like all the songs that were released throughout those past 4 episodes of the VSV TV. So it's quite weird to watch yourself back, but I thought it was quite a nice interview. And yes, Patrick and Sebastian, you guys weren't unique, as you probably said at least 10 times in all those episodes. But I have to say, you guys have improved so much since then. Also with the technical stuff, you guys are doing great right now. I was asked back then what I was looking most forward to in the Lustrum month, and I said the smaller things, the new initiatives that people came up with, the new events that were organized and completely set up within just a few weeks, some within just a week only. And I am so proud of those members that thought of those initiatives, worked them out, and actually made sure that a lot of people could enjoy those events. We had a whole range of different activities. We had a sing-along night, Mamma Mia, with the Women with Wings, there was a game night, there even was a Barco event, which I'm quite sure hasn't happened in the past few years or so. And those are all quite smaller events, but all very, very nice. I'm very glad that all those committees put up with an event. And what I'm amazed by what you guys can achieve by now with the VSV TV, going to Schiphol Airport and actually filming live on location. That's amazing. We want to celebrate the Lustrum together, and it's quite hard to celebrate together when you're all alone in your home. And I think we did make it happen. I think we celebrated the Lustrum together, and I'm very glad that we did. I enjoyed it to the fullest. And those connections were made. I mean, Discord was full most of the times. My internet could not handle it. I can assure you that. But it's amazing to see how much initiatives were thought of and were pulled off, from, I don't even know, drinking games online to lunch lectures, Ferrari lecture with a crazy amount of attendees, and also beer tastings and even a postcard party. I just posted my card, so Laura, you can expect a card pretty soon. But yeah, I'm just amazed, let me just say that. And I'm proud of what the society can achieve. And I'm glad that we named our Lustrum Endeavor with the pre-Lustrum committee last year. I mean, we couldn't have foreseen how maybe well described it would be for this year, with all those plans for the Lustrum month. But we did not foresee that the whole coronavirus would happen, that the Netherlands and even the whole wide world would be in lockdown. But that endeavor, which I just touched upon, was now shown by you guys. It was shown by the VSV members, especially the active members, showing your ambition, your striving in making sure that everyone can celebrate this Lustrum, this 15th Lustrum of the VSV. Very much looking forward to the next 75 years, because what you guys have pulled off in just a month, it has something to say for the upcoming 75 years, I'm sure. And lastly, I just want to thank you all for participating, organizing, being involved within the VSV. Maybe not this year, maybe last year, but you all are part of the history of the VSV. And I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you organized all those events and that we got to celebrate the 15th Lustrum Endeavor together. It was so nice. Thank you guys very much. A very, very big thank you to the Lustrum committee of this year. You guys did a great, great job. I really enjoyed all those Lustrum activities you pulled off, and I'm glad that you guys did it. Thank you for all those amazing episodes of VSV TV. I think it's a great idea. I might have to continue it in the next years, but we'll see about that. But a very big thank you from me, from the 75th board, and I guess also from all the members of the VSV for making our Lustrum one to never forget. A very big foe for you guys. And then I guess it's back to you, Patrick and Sebastian, and the rest of the Lustrum committee. And good luck tonight and enjoy it.
Oh, there were some truly spoken words from the president, of course.
Yeah. Also, I want to thank Leanne personally for giving this, for opening this Lustrum month, but also closing it with your speech. I also want to thank my fellow board members, of course, for making this Lustrum month happen. And of course you guys, but we're not done yet, so let's keep it for the thanking words, because we have something very special lined up, right?
Yes, for this, spoiler alert, it's not finished yet,
yes.
But we have some very special people that have something to say to us, to the VSV. And for this I would say we have a small teaser, small video, but maybe a little bit of background behind the video is to show what we as VSV, what we can, how we can reach out towards
it's actually like
society.
The aim for the video you're about to see the teaser of, so the final version will be later and will be even bigger with more people, also our own members. But the video you're about to see was meant as an initiative to see all the people that the VSV can connect, like even during this, especially during these times. So not only students amongst each other, but also students with the industry and the sector and all those amazing and inspiring people that we know. And I want to thank every person that you're about to see in the video very sincerely for this contribution, because I think you are the persons that help the VSV do the things that we're able to do, that we would never be without you, and we're able to connect more students to the sector, to other people, and I think that's ultimately what the VSV stands for. But enough of me talking, maybe I should just show it. So I suggest to you, this is a congratulative part from the sector to the VSV, so enjoy.
Let me start this small video by recognizing, of course, that in these difficult times, also of recession, I think, in personal opinion, we have to celebrate what we can celebrate, and this is something, of course, truly to celebrate.
Well, first, of course, congratulations with your 75th anniversary of your society in a bit of a strange year, of course. I know, when talking to the board of VSV, that you planned a variety of festivities, but due to the corona crisis, of course, they cannot take place. I'm pretty sure that in 25 years you will make it to celebrate the first centennial birthday of the VSV.
I congratulate the VSV Leonardo da Vinci with her 15th lustrum on behalf of her 75th birthday.
I congratulate VSV Leonardo da Vinci.
I congratulate the VSV Leonardo da Vinci.
I congratulate VSV Leonardo da Vinci
with her 15th anniversary endeavor
on behalf of her 75th birthday. Congratulations.
Congratulations and have fun, not only studying, but also now and then going to the bar. Enjoy!
Dear VSV Leonardo da Vinci, hereby I congratulate the VSV Leonardo da Vinci with her 15th Lustrum Endeavor.
I congratulate the VSV Leonardo da Vinci with its 15th Lustrum Endeavor on behalf of her 75th birthday.
I congratulate the VSV Leonardo da Vinci with her 15th Lustrum Endeavor on behalf of her 75th anniversary. How do I see the future of the VSV? I think the members of the VSV will keep on striving as they did for the past 75 years. And through this striving, they will reach even higher levels of activities, higher levels of personal development, and higher levels of pretty much everything. And I can't wait to see what they will do in the upcoming years, and I can't even imagine what they will be able to reach within those next 75 years of the VSV Leonardo da Vinci.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
How epic is that? We were actually, with the people who were doing this, we were extremely overwhelmed by the amount of positive response.
I can imagine. It's definitely true, and to see so many people that we're connected to, and also such big leaders in aviation and space, of course. So it's wonderful to see that we have such a broad connection to the society.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm afraid
you feel it coming, right?
I feel it coming that this is actually the end.
Yes. Not only of this episode, but I also think of the Lustrum month, as we just said. How did you think the last episode went?
Apart from some technical difficulties we had, I think it was the best episode we had, because we have so many nice people around us. Definitely a great applause for you guys. But also, thinking back about the Lustrum month, I have to admit, I'm so surprised that we still managed to do so much stuff in that Lustrum month.
Yeah. I think it's great, and I think it's as I said, so awesome to see everyone of the VSV, and not only like all committees, like talking about making possible. We saw these partners, these amazing, inspiring people in the last video, but I think if I have to talk about inspiring, it's definitely our members. And if you're watching now, I want to thank you for everything and making this Lustrum month possible. And as a Lucy, we sort of try to glue it together. So see these VSV TV episodes as your maizena, I would suppose. I think that deserves a lot. Yes. No. Anyways, I think that's our job. That's what we set out to do, and I think, it wouldn't be possible with the members of the VSV. I think it was great, and where we may have thought that in the beginning everything went to pieces, I think we came back out stronger, and I can look back on something. We can look back at something that is truly amazing, and we are really proud of.
Definitely, yeah. I can't say better words. I would say. I mean, thank you to all you guys that are watching today, and also for contributing to this wonderful Lustrum month. I would like to name all the committees, but to be honest, I'm too afraid that I forget someone, so I'm not going to do it.
We just say all of you.
All of you, thank you so much for this wonderful Lustrum month on behalf of the entire Lustrum committee, of course. Yes, definitely. A great applause again.
Yeah.
And I think this is it, right?
Yeah.
The 15th Lustrum Endeavor. I think the team Endeavor has never been so connected to this Lustrum as ever, because Endeavor is definitely what we did, going into such a hard time, but coming out stronger. And I think definitely that is the main key about Endeavor, to strive to something better.
And if this all wouldn't happen, would we end this Lustrum month with this freaking view?
Yeah.
Look, it's like it's the Schiphol Plaza and the tower there in the distance, in the dusk of the evening. I'm overwhelmed by all of it. I think we've already thanked the people of the VSV, but I think I should thank one committee in particular. That is you guys. Offering up your Friday nights, and offering up all this time, those 2 hours per week. I think you know what I'm talking about. No, Sebas, Giel, Ralf, Floor, Manouk, Barjan still being the producer.
Nou leuk hoor.
I'm so extremely proud of you. I just can't express it. I'm proud to end it here together, which I think is something out of my dreams, and I'm so proud of everyone. I feel like it's done, but it's not done yet because we have some more weeks to go. And probably there will be an airbase and an airbase. I don't know. But I would like to say thank you so incredibly much, and I'm so proud of you guys. To end on a happy note, we have the final and then the full version of the Lustrum CD because it was cut off early.
But before we go to that and finish off this episode, because actually this is not really the finale of the Lustrum, because we still have something or a few things that are coming up. Maybe indeed, as you said already, an airbase. What? But also maybe another event from the Lustrum that was cancelled. Maybe a bit of a spoiler, but that's everything I'm gonna say. So if you want to see a bit more about that, stay tuned on, of course, the VSV on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. But also, there's still the present to our faculty. That is still not finished, and we still can, we can still contribute to it, right?
Yeah. And it's not even the end.
No.
It's not the end.
It's not the end. No, definitely not. So we're still continuing, and for that we still need your help. So after this, I would say now it's closing off time.
Yeah, I think it's the end for one thing with this episode.
Yeah.
If you're still watching, thank you. I hope you liked all the content. I hope you guys like all the content. Again, Lucy and every other person in the VSV, thank you so much. I would say dance away with the Lustrum medley, and hopefully we can meet again in person sometime. Thank you so much, and I would say big round of applause for everyone and yourself, and yeah.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Guys, we'll see you. Bye.
wakker met een ijsje in je bed. Open je ogen en je voelt al de paniek. Elke morgen wakker met een ijsje in je bed. Als het binnen is begin je aan je piek. Het was me een weekend zo met de VSV. Wakker met een ijsje, dat zit me toch wel mee. Nu ben ik weer tevreden.
Salute, it's me, Da Vinci. I did everything from painting to engineering. Allo, allo, it's me, Leonardo da Vinci. I did dream of a day that people fly. We build airplanes, rockets, satellites. Since 1945, we the VSV took flight. Engineering to the greatest height. All our limits out of sight. We build airplanes, rockets, satellites. Since 1945, we the VSV took flight. Engineering to the greatest height. All our limits out of sight.
This year is special for the VSV, so please come in because this is the place to be. We got some parties and things to see. We'll make this year count and have fun for you and me. We got them launching, soaring, flying every year since 45. But this year we'll make it special, we won't drop it. We've been dreaming, thinking, trying. Now it's time to take the dive, cause it's time to start this party. We won't stop it. 75 years in the past, down here in Delft, it's time for a blast. Time to fly and it's happening fast. So just imagine, just imagine, just imagine. As I'm flying high above on an Endeavor, it's launching into outer space on an Endeavor. Come on, traveling to a brand new place on an Endeavor. The VSV together on an Endeavor. On an Endeavor. On Endeavor.
So nice to be here with the VSV. Go grab your snowboard or maybe your skis. Sit in the lift and there's suddenly some ice. There's like a penguin and you win the prize.
Alle julties op mij, alle jets op mij, alle Jenny op mij. Laten vieren. Dus de 15. Dus de 15. Alle julties op mij, alle jets op mij, alle Jenny op mij. Laten vieren. Dus de 15. Dus de 15. Ik weet niet wat is gebeurd. De doppen waren zomaar weg.